Welcome to episode 5 of the Mafia King's Heart. Amy arrived at work 15 minutes early. Not because she had to, because sleep had been almost impossible. Every time she closed her eyes, she remembered the meeting and Nicholas King. More specifically, the way he had defended her in front of everyone. The memory made her stomach flutter, which was ridiculous. He was a client, a very important client, nothing more. At least that was what she kept telling herself. Unfortunately, her heart seemed unconvinced. The office was unusually quiet when she arrived. Most employees wouldn't appear for another half hour. Amy settled at her desk and opened her laptop. Several project files waited for her attention. She buried herself in work. It was easier than thinking. A voice interrupted her concentration.
Good morning, Amy.
Her smile faded instantly. Alex Jones stood beside her desk, holding a coffee cup, wearing a smile she didn't particularly like.
Good morning, sir.
Alex leaned casually against the desk.
I reviewed your presentation.
Amy looked up.
Thank you.
You did very well.
Thank you.
His gaze lingered longer than necessary. Again. Amy resisted the urge to shift uncomfortably. Alex continued smiling.
I always knew you had potential.
The compliment felt strange, mostly because he rarely gave compliments, at least not genuine ones.
That's kind of you to say.
It's true.
Morning, Amy.
She practically dropped into the chair beside her. Alex's smile immediately disappeared.
Sarah.
Alex.
The tension was almost comical. Amy fought back a laugh. A few moments later, Alex finally walked away. Sarah waited until he disappeared, then leaned closer.
Was he bothering you again?
Number.
You always say no.
Because nothing happened.
Sarah looked unconvinced, as usual. 2 hours later, an email arrived from King Global Hotels. The entire design department gathered around Alex's office. Everyone wanted to know what it contained. Alex adjusted his tie before reading aloud.
The client has requested a site inspection this afternoon.
Excited whispers filled the room. A site visit meant direct involvement in the project. Everyone wanted to go. Alex continued reading.
The attendees requested are...
He paused, scanning the email. For a brief second, something flashed across his face. Something unpleasant. Then he forced a smile.
Me.
Nobody looked surprised. Of course Alex was attending.
The lead architecture team. Again, expected.
Then Alex's expression tightened slightly.
And Amy White.
The room erupted.
What? Seriously? That's amazing.
Sarah nearly screamed. Amy simply stared, certain she had heard incorrectly.
Me?
Alex folded the email.
Apparently.
Something about his tone suggested he wasn't happy about it. Not at all. Amy couldn't understand why she had been chosen. There were more experienced designers available, more senior employees. Yet somehow Nicholas King had specifically requested her attendance. The realization made her pulse quicken. 3 hours later, Amy stood outside the construction site of the future King Grand Hotel. The building towered above the city. Even unfinished, it was impressive. Luxury, elegance, power. Everything about it reflected Nicholas King. A black SUV pulled to the curb. Employees immediately straightened. Nicholas stepped out, followed by Ryder. For a brief moment, his eyes swept across the group, then stopped on Amy. The look lasted less than a second, yet her heartbeat immediately accelerated. Ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. She looked away first. The tour began. Construction managers explained timelines and plans. Architects discussed layouts. Engineers reviewed safety requirements. Nicholas listened carefully. As always, every detail mattered. Every decision mattered. Amy quietly followed behind the group. observing, taking notes, admiring the structure. The future hotel was going to be beautiful. At one point, the group climbed toward the upper levels. Several sections remained unfinished. Temporary railings lined the edges. Construction workers moved equipment around them. The environment required caution. Amy focused on her notes while walking. A mistake. A very unfortunate mistake. Her foot caught a loose cable. Everything happened instantly. The notebook slipped from her hands. Her balance disappeared. And suddenly, she was falling. A sharp gasp escaped her lips. The world tilted. Her stomach dropped. Then, a strong arm wrapped around her waist, stopping her. The notebook hit the floor, but Amy never did. For one frozen moment, she remained suspended against a solid chest. Safe, secure, completely stunned. The entire floor seemed to stop moving. Slowly, she looked up, directly into Nicholas King's eyes. His arm remained firmly around her waist, holding her against him. Too close. Far too close. Amy forgot how breathing worked. Nicholas's expression was unreadable, but his grip tightened slightly, as though confirming she was actually safe. Neither spoke. Neither moved. The moments stretched. Longer. Longer and longer. Until Ryder finally cleared his throat. Loudly. Very loudly. Reality returned. Nicholas immediately helped Amy regain her footing.
Are you hurt?
His voice was calm, yet something about it sounded different, sharper, more intense. Amy shook her head.
I don't think so.
Nicholas looked unconvinced.
You almost fell.
I'm okay.
He continued studying her, checking for injuries. Amy suddenly became aware of everyone watching, especially Alex, who looked strangely irritated. Not concerned, irritated. The realization made her uncomfortable. Nicholas picked up her notebook and handed it back. Their fingers brushed briefly. A tiny touch. Yet Amy felt it immediately. So did Nicholas, judging by the brief pause that followed.
Thank you.
Her voice came out softer than intended. Nicholas nodded once.
Be careful.
The words sounded simple, yet somehow felt personal, as though he genuinely meant them. The tour continued, at least physically. Mentally, Amy barely remembered anything afterward. Her thoughts kept replaying the moment. The fall. His arm around her waist. The way he had looked at her. It was impossible to ignore. Equally impossible to understand. Meanwhile, Nicholas remained unusually quiet. Even Ryder noticed. At one point, he moved beside Nicholas.
You realize you nearly broke the sound barrier getting to her.
Nicholas ignored him. Ryder smirked.
You were worried.
Still nothing.
I've seen you react slower to actual gunfire.
Nicholas finally looked at him. The warning in his eyes was clear. Ryder wisely changed the subject. For approximately 30 seconds. The tour ended shortly before sunset. Employees slowly returned to their vehicles. Amy stood near the entrance organizing her notes. A black shadow appeared beside her. Nicholas. Again. Her pulse betrayed her immediately.
I wanted your opinion.
Amy blinked.
My opinion?
Nicholas nodded.
About the rooftop lounge.
She stared. One of the most powerful businessmen in New York was asking for her opinion. Personally. Directly. Why?
I think
She gathered her thoughts.
the view should be the focus.
Nicholas listened.
The city already provides the luxury.
A small smile touched his lips, barely visible, yet undeniably there.
So the design should stay simple.
Amy nodded.
Exactly.
For several seconds, neither spoke. The evening breeze moved gently around them. The city glowed in the distance. And for the first time, the conversation felt surprisingly easy, comfortable. Then Ryder appeared. Perfect timing, as always.
We need to leave.
Nicholas's expression immediately cooled. Amy almost laughed. The contrast was obvious. He looked back at her one final time.
Thank you for your input, Miss White.
You're welcome, Mr. King.
A strange look crossed his face. Something thoughtful. Something amused. Then he walked away. As the black SUV disappeared into traffic, Amy stood frozen on the sidewalk. Sarah's words from earlier echoed in her head.
You're beautiful and completely oblivious to it.
Amy had always dismissed comments like that. Yet for some reason, Nicholas King kept looking at her as though he saw something nobody else did. And that realization was far more dangerous than she was willing to admit. Because for the first time since losing her parents, someone was beginning to break through the walls around her heart, and she wasn't sure she knew how to stop it.